Hello, I'm back. I'm back in my happy place this week. Have you noticed I'm back? I'm back in my office where I do most of my recording. I'm not stuck in the bedroom hiding from the kids or the husband or the animals. Lockdown here where I am on the South Island of New Zealand is over. Hobby's back in work, kids are back in school, and all is normal. Which is kind of what I wanted to talk about, really, for this week's little episode. It's a tough time in the world at the moment, isn't it? And I know a lot of people are feeling it, right? Wherever you live, everybody has been affected by what we are living through at the moment. We've been relatively unscathed here in New Zealand. Like we had, obviously, when it all kicked off at the beginning of last year, we had a pretty hard lockdown. It wasn't very long compared to the rest of the world. It wasn't very long, but we have quite tough things that we have to abide by when we are in a lockdown. And it obviously works because, we've not had to be in them that often. But I just wanted to just talk about how people are feeling. And, mentally it's tough. In your head, you can be feeling all kinds of ways when things go on in the world like this. And I've lived through a few issues now where your head kind of gets taken away, and if you're not lucky, you can spiral to some place that you don't want to be, and it gets you down. Obviously we had the Christchurch earthquakes here, which was probably the other big thing for me. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I just wanted to talk a little bit about how you protect your own energy in times of stress and when the world seems to be going crazy around you. Because, I remember putting a post up on Facebook not that long ago. I actually feel that I don't talk about what's going on in the world very much at all. And I put this post up on Facebook and it got so many comments and likes and things, and I just thought that it was probably worth coming on and chatting about it here too. I don't talk about it, not because it doesn't affect me, not because, I'm lucky because I live in the back end of the world and it's not been as rife here. I don't talk about it because I don't want to get dragged down into the fear energy of what is happening throughout the world. The way I see it is, if I get down, if I watch every news report I could possibly read, if I see every newspaper article I could possibly see, if I look at statistics all day long, if I look at things that are going on with the alternative, method of how we're trying to deal with this, I could get dragged so far down into that energy and that fear and that just total not niceness that's going on in the world right now. But whether I'm in that energy or one where I try and stay optimistic and one where I just go about my day, just, not reading all that stuff and not watching all that stuff and not getting dragged down in it all, and not letting the fear kind of grip me and take over. No matter which one of those things I choose to do for me, what is happening in this world is still happening. And I think I've learned through all of the things that I've done and practiced and the modalities and the things that I know about mindset, I've learned now that I need to protect my energy. And I can protect that by not getting obsessive about things that are out of my control. So I choose not to read the newspaper reports. I choose not to watch the news sometimes. I choose not to look at what's happening in the world. I choose to just stay in my own little happy bubble. And I know that what I'm saying is so much easier said than done for a lot of people. But it doesn't have to be, because it is a choice. And I've spoken about this before. We always have a choice. Whether it seems like you do or not, we always have a choice. And my choice is always to choose love over hate. It's to choose optimism over pessimism or fear. I choose to see the good side of things. I'm a glass half full person rather than a glass half empty person, and it's a much nicer place to live when I am thinking like that with what is going on around us. So there's always a choice. But I did want to just sort of expand on that a little bit, because you'll have heard me talk about the reticular activating system before as well. And that sort of little thing in our brain is what, if we always show it doom and gloom, it goes off and it finds much more doom and gloom to prove to us that we're right. And so if you choose to see happiness and optimism and good news and good stuff and all the good things that has come out of what we're living in, because there are so many good things that have come out of this, your reticular activated system instead will go off and show you more good things to prove that you're right. It's like, I've told my little yellow car story before, but I'm going to tell it again because it's a really good analogy for what I mean when I talk about this, right? We bought, about 2 years ago, we bought a little tiny bright yellow car, and I call her Sunny. She's my little Sunny, because she's the colour of the sun and she makes me happy. Whenever I see her, I just smile because she's such a bright, happy colour. Anyway, before we had Sunny, I never noticed yellow cars anywhere. There might be, every so often I'd be driving on the road and I might see a yellow car and it would stick out like a sore thumb because it's bright yellow, right? And I'd go, oh, look, there's a yellow car. And then I'd forget about it because it wasn't something that was in my field of vision. It wasn't something that was in my reticular activating system. So I wasn't actively looking for it. Anyway, then we bought Sunny. And literally everywhere I go now, I see yellow cars, the exact same make and model as my Sunny. And that's because I bought that car into my field of vision. It's now in my reticular activating system and I am noticing them all the time because I am constantly I'm not focused on it, but I've got one, so I see it. It's like, I don't know whether any of you have read E4 Squared, I think it's called, by Pam Grout. She makes you look for I think it's a green Volkswagen Jetta. It's exactly the same thing, right? If you have something in your mind, like Sunny, my little yellow car, I am going to see little yellow cars everywhere because my reticular activating system wants to prove to me that I'm right because it's in my energy, it's in my field of vision, and I'm going to see it. So that, I think, is the perfect analogy for something like this. If you can look at the good, if you can look for the good in anything, it doesn't just have to be now, it is literally in life, full stop. If you can look for the good, if you can look for the optimism, if you can look for the happy things, if you can find the gratitude, if you can stay out of the dragging down energy of fear and stops, I've talked about the spiral of emotions as well. You don't want to be down the bottom of the spiral feeling fear and angst and anger and all of those things. You want to be as far up the energetic scale as you can be, feeling happiness and optimism and gratitude and happiness and joy. And if you start to actively look for things to be grateful for, if you start to actively look for things that make you happy, if you start to actively look for things that bring you joy as opposed to things that bring you fear, you will see more of them. And that's what we all want, and that's what we all need right now in life, full stop, forever. So use your reticular activating system for good. Start to look for good things. Start to look for gratitude. Start to look for little yellow sunny cars. And you will literally see them everywhere. And that is my message for this week. I just think that we all need a bit of a bit of stuff to be happy about, a bit of gratitude, a bit of normality back in our lives. And as I sit here in normal again, I just felt the need to come on and share that because I think it's really important. And like I said at the beginning, there's always a choice to see the good. There's always a choice to look for the good, to look for the silver lining, to look for the message in the fear or the anger or the angst or, you know, whatever it is that you're feeling. There's always a message in there. And if you choose to look for it, if you choose to weed out the bad thoughts and get to the message and find it and choose the optimism and the happiness and the gratitude within whatever situation you're living in right now, then life gets to be a much nicer place to be. And that is my hope for everybody. And that is really all I wanted to say this week. Nothing more, just, you know, use your reticular activating system in your brain for good. Use it to see good. Don't use it to keep showing you more fear and more fear and more fear and more fear. Use it for good. And you will find that the more you do that, the more it becomes second nature, and the more you don't have to then even think about it, because you will do that then on autopilot. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say today. It was short, sweet, to the point, little happy message, because I feel as though we could all do with one. So yeah, that's it from me. If you would like more of these happy messages, subscribe, like this video, stick around, join my Facebook group. It's free, it's all free. And I love sharing things like this. And if I can help even one person to feel better about themselves, I was just going to say in the world we're living in at the minute, but I just mean literally forever. If I can help just one person, if I can make somebody feel a bit more optimistic and a bit more happy with the message that I'm spreading and the things that I'm sharing, then my work here is done. And that is literally all I want to do. So like and subscribe, stick around, and I will see you next week. Bye.